everybody, welcome back to the Christian Hannah Horror Show, and today guys I want to talk to you guys about one of my favorite genres of horror. You know, I've always said this, I'm a sucker for a really good found footage horror movie. I will watch 10 bad ones to find that one gem, to find that one really good found footage horror movie. And I've seen quite a number of really good ones and quite a number of really bad found footage horror movies, but that doesn't mean that I'm not a super fan of the genre. And today I want to tell you guys about 5 of my favorite found footage horror movies ever made. So let's get started. Alright, so coming in at number 5 for me is going to be a movie that this franchise is pretty much universally hated, but I'll never forget the first time going to the theater, word of mouth, everybody was like, you have got to go see this movie in the theater. Oh my god, that was the first Paranormal Activity. Absolutely loved the first Paranormal Activity. One of the scariest experiences in a theater that I can remember having. You know, I was right at the tail end of high school when this movie was in theaters, 2009 I think, and everybody at school was like, you've got to go see this. This is, man, this is crazy. You know, so that first experience, obviously it's a roller coaster ride. Once you see it the first time, the fun's over. You can't go back and watch again and really be scared. You know where all the stuff's coming. But before you know anything, I'm putting my number 5 as this because of that experience. I will never forget the fun I had in the theater. Alright, coming in at number 4 for me, guys. I have a rule of thumb. A really good found footage horror movie makes me forget that I'm watching found footage. And one example of this is this movie, The Sacrament. You know, this is loosely based off of the story of the Jonestown murders. This prolific preacher who has this power over everybody, and this filmmaker and his friend are going to visit one of their sisters who has basically moved over to this new little cottage of land that this community is. They're all living off the grid in this community, and they go there and they find out things are really weird. First off, they want them to, you know, there's these guys with guns that when they get there, like, let me see all your stuff. They get in there, and then they finally get to meet the preacher, the father as they call him, and they can clearly see that this guy is extremely manipulative and has so much control over these people. And it's, like I said, it's loosely based off the story of the Jonestown murders. The movie ends the way the story basically ends, the dreaded Kool-Aid, where it was all poison and everybody drank the stuff and everybody was dying. A very, very powerful movie. This is a very gut-wrenching film, so if you guys watch The Sacrament, be ready. I believe it's on Shudder still. Coming in number 3 for me, House LLC, and I will never forget watching this movie. You can see this on Shudder now as well. House LLC, another found footage type movie that has basically these group of people, and they're starting this haunted house in this old abandoned hotel, the Abaddon Hotel, I believe it's called. Things are creepy. This hotel, you find out, is truly haunted. It's a cult hotel ran by this maniacal guy back in the day. A wild movie, House LLC. It's such a fun experience. Scary stuff with simple scares. This is not a movie that does all this crazy ghost popping out and the screen gets distorted. It's simple yet effective stuff. House LLC, a fantastic found footage movie. Check out House LLC. Coming in at number 2, guys, by no surprise, definitely not the creator of found footage. There were movies that came out well before this, and I have specific taste with found footage movies, but my number 2, everybody should know this movie and love this movie, is The Blair Witch Project. You know, The Blair Witch Project is a movie I saw years after it came out. I did not see this in the theaters back in 99. I did see this movie roughly 9 or 10 years ago, and just effective for me. It's still effective till this day because you don't see anything, and you have a question in your head of what is really out there because I'm not seeing it. And sometimes not seeing it is what makes it so incredibly scary. And The Blair Witch Project is a movie with some replay value. You can watch this movie and still get that feeling despite knowing what's coming next. The Blair Witch Project, it made a ton of money for a good reason. It was a good found footage horror movie. Some think it's completely overrated, some just don't like the movie, and I'm not going to argue that because the Blair Witch Project definitely has its fan base out there and it's talked about a lot, but I truly do think the movie is that good, so the Blair Witch Project is my number 2. I want to give a shout out to a couple more found footage movies that I really like. Digging Up the Marrow is a really fun found footage movie. You can check that out on Shudder as well. There's also a movie I really liked called The Visit. This was a really effective found footage horror movie to me, done well, and just a creepy old couple in this movie. I thought they did a fantastic job. And I also want to give it up to The Grave Encounters 1 and 2, some really good stuff. Grave Encounters, and also Cloverfield. I think it's a pretty fun movie. My number one found footage horror movie of all time is a movie that affects me to the core. It's a movie called The Poughkeepsie Tapes. The Poughkeepsie Tapes, a movie that I had heard about but could never find it. Well, Scream Factory did this release of it on Blu-ray, and I got my hands on the Poughkeepsie Tapes, and I watched this movie, and it is so gut-wrenching and real. It's almost too real. They go through painstaking efforts to make this seem brutal and just horrifying and just as gnarly as they did, because it is gnarly. But the stuff that scares me the most in the Poughkeepsie Tapes, it's not the scenes where you're seeing the torture and the horror. It's the scenes where they're interviewing. Obviously, they're mock fake interviews because it's a movie, but they're interviewing FBI agents and detectives, and at the end of the movie, they're interviewing this detective, and he says, when this movie comes out that you guys are making, and if it goes to theaters, he's not going to be able to help himself. He'll be at the theater to see himself, and when he does, we're going to be watching because we know he'll be there. That part made me, like, I had to look around like, oh my god, what's going on? The Poughkeepsie Tapes, if you guys can't get your hands on it, somebody, we got to figure out where you can get this. I got it from Scream Factory. I don't know if Scream Factory is still selling copies of the movie. There may have been an issue. I don't know. Maybe not. Just look it up, guys. The Poughkeepsie Tapes, a great found footage horror movie. Now more than ever is when I need you guys to drop your comments below on found footage horror movies that you love, because I am a sucker for a good found footage horror movie. Drop your list, let me know, give me honorable mentions, give me everything, the whole 9 yards. That's what I want to see. So thank you guys for watching this video. As always, this is Christian Hannah Hart. Check the description for the Patreon. We just saw Nathan Oswald join up. Thank you, sir. So he gets to now hear all the music that I make myself for my channel. And also Devon Graham, who's been a Patreon member for a while now. We thank you as well. Also, guys, check out the Teespring. We've got all kinds of great designs, guys. I do these designs myself that you can get from Teespring. I've got a couple people that have messaged me who've gotten their shirts. Thank you so much. This is Christian Hannah Horror. We will see you guys next time.